Evening all, welcome back to Tactics. Now that title of this video is courtesy of Nano Cleric, so send him celebratory mail for daring daring to call me such a heinous word. Anyway, so we carry on our kind of plasma light cannon, flaylock, scout, cloaky kind of combo, and I thought I'd show you this match. This match was flawless. Well, it wasn't, I do die, but it was just gorgeous to play this one. It just felt like we had a group of people against us who were very good at the game. So I'm, no troll face. They were very good. They understand about kind of strafing. They were very good shots and very accurate indeed. So as you can see, this is going to be one of those matches where you really feel you're going to be tested. And I'm not honestly not trolling. This is this is one of them matches. And you'll see why, because the reality is that it's always lovely when a team kind of pushes you. And you see here, every single, they're very accurate. Look at that. They're getting a lot of shots on at me, and that's a good sign of a good team. So I'm like, oh guys, we've got a fight here. We've got, we're on. And yeah, this started to get quite good. And you'll see this is where I think map design starts to really come in, because to be honest with you, one of the prevalent thoughts of when you fit a suit is that your suit is not going to be suitable or fit for purpose for every fitting. So for example, heavies, as you see here, are pretty good on this map because there's lots of corners that they pretty much can run around a corner, be right within range, and then shoot you. But as you see, I'm being followed by an assault suit there, and I have a scout suit, and I'm able to run away far quicker than any of these. Now the beauty of this map particularly, and especially this grid structure here, is you are always going at right angles here. Look at how easy it is to get in here and shoot and kill and rip them apart, because at every point they lose line of sight because I am only 2 steps away from running around a corner. Beautiful map design, so subtle. I think people maybe disregard how cleverly designed this has been, because the long range high rate of fire guns here are useless. You're now in the shotgun and alpha zone, as we and the melee zone, as it would appear. And this is got to be one of the beauties of Dust, is that it actually does create artificial zones where guns become less effective. Because again, what's the point of having a combat rifle here? Because there's no real ability to get a long shot done and down, whereas running around with a flaylock and a plasma cannon is pretty deadly. Now again, I still die, so look, I'm going to die here because that guy's got he's just got me. There's not a lot I can do if I miss all 4 shots on him. But there we go, revenge, bitch, revenge. And I think this is kind of the thing to bear in mind, is that actually if you miss with all of your weaponry, then you're not very good. You're not going to get much out of it. And I think this is something really to bear in mind. So here we go again. Look, they're all down there. And the flaylock's now kind of king, because they can't really do much, and there's area of effect, there's kind of splash damage, they're being hit from multiple sides, so they're being flanked, and to be honest, that was a slaughter right there. Beautiful tactics, and hopefully people really kind of get that, because it's not just a load of cleverly strung together knob gags with these videos. We do try and show a bit of tactics in some way or another. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, this map is a great example of where you can have many different play styles that are dominant and then subordinate at the same time. So certainly shotguns in this environment are amazing, but just outside the map or just above it, you've then got to realize that scrambler rifles and laser rifles start to become very powerful indeed. So again, people think they have a fit, they stick with it, and that's what they run, and I think there's nothing wrong with that, but just appreciate where your power lies. So here, this is a very stupid thing I'm doing here, because the reality is that they're all running high rate of fire guns, pretty easy kind of no-brainer guns, and that's what's going to give me trouble. Whereas when I obviously am back in my prime, my jungle, effectively my industrial jungle, as I like to think of it, the reality is there's no long line of sight, so all of a sudden I'm around a corner and I'm right on them with a very high damage alpha weapon, and yeah, they better start sort of hoping that I miss. And when literally their only hope is that I balls up, then they're in kind of trouble. Oh god, that sounded arrogant, didn't it? And it was meant to. So, as you see, we've just completely stomped them out of the base. I feel a bit bad about this. I always wish there was a bit of an easier way for people to get back into a match. Like, I don't know, give them random spawns nearer the point if they get if their clone count's lower or something. I don't know, just to keep the kind of match going, because the amount of times that a match is won about 5 minutes in is pretty crazy. And I've got to admit, it takes a hell of a team to actually pull it back. And I rarely see it, to be honest with you, which is a shame. There should be more of an ability to actually pull the whole match back to you somehow or another. And maybe it's giving you better orbitals. Maybe, if you're the losing team after a particular criteria is met, then orbitals no longer become 2,500 war points. Maybe they become 1,500 war points. That'd be pretty awesome as well, because what that would give you then is the ability to get back in the match, really. If you could then just start to really orbital the defenses of the dominant team, that is quite a nice thought. And I would love to see that, because what it would mean is that most players after a while give up, and they would just sit at the back and get the war points for whatever they've earned so far. And I think that is a shame. There should be some ability to drive the battle all the way through. Now, there could be cost issues there, because they don't probably want to keep the map sockets open for too long. They probably don't want to, I don't know, whatever the model is. I can imagine that having a map open for too long, I know, is buggy, and that can cause lots of issues. So maybe it's not a great idea, but it would be nice just to have some form of retaliation capability from a bested foe. So in this case, look, we're completely dominating them, and maybe there'll be the ability to have the MCC start firing down or something like that. Just something, because I can't imagine that the MCC is just going to sit there knowing that it's kind of doomed. It doesn't make much sense when you think about it. There should be some kind of actions done as one team starts to get dominated, so that actually it does then mean that the battle's then back on. And I think that would just make players love the game even more, because the reality is that yes, I'm dominating this match right now, but all of a sudden the MCC is going to start shooting down, or something's going to happen that's going to make the game totally kind of in their favor for a while. And very akin to football, if you've ever watched football, and I mean soccer, I'm afraid. What I mean by that is, it doesn't matter how good both teams are, at some point in the match one team is going to be dominant over the other. Okay, so you can be playing Brazil versus Dave's Pub's five-a-side down the local gym. And the reality is that eventually, as I miss completely, but then I get my last shot off, nice, but he killed me. Eventually, the dominant side, the most powerful side, is still going to be put on the ropes a little bit to defend. And I would love to see that a bit more. I think the game at the moment is incredibly formulaic, and we'll talk about this in the next video, because this is my biggest gripe about the game. It's what's actually putting me off the game a bit at the moment, because it's what's really annoying me slightly against the game in general, is that we'll cover it in the next video, but long story short, when these maps come up, everybody knows the tactic to do. Get a cheap dropship, go up on high, drop spawn points here, then shoot down with forge guns. Get a dropship, get on the ore cans, sit there and forge. Get in the room, create a spawn nest, sit there and reap the benefits. And to be honest, everybody knows the formulas now, and everybody knows the tactics. And it's becoming so formulaic and let me tell you, Ashlands, that one with a great big shuttle in the middle of it, the elevated shuttle, huge shuttle, you know what I mean? Anyway, you know what I mean. And what it is that map needs to go, because everybody who plays that game now, and I actually don't even want to play that map anymore. When it comes, I leave, because what happens is that somebody on one side or the other gets a dropship, flies all the way to the top of that shuttle, lands on it, usually losing their dropship in the process, and drops spawn pads there, and then they just literally shower down from that point. Now, you're about to say to me, and I know your mind, you're about to say to me, but that's fun, Pyrex, that's exactly what the game should be like. Bollocks. It's boring, because when that's what everybody does every time, it just makes the game so boring. It is boring. And I just wish there was a bit more, even when they were tweaking things and things changed, so you couldn't put spawn pads down in certain places anymore and things like that. It made everybody rethink the entire game, because nothing has changed in terms of the mechanics of this game for a long time now, and probably never will again. These tactics are now prevalent across the whole game, and it's pretty boring. So there we go. We'll talk about this more in the next video. Hope you enjoyed that. See you next time.